Today we are going to install the new Turn Off-Road Ford Bronco CR1 M1 front camera relocation plate. This relocation plate fits the 2021 and newer Ford Bronco 2 and 4 door models. Installation time is under 60 minutes. Can be installed by yourself with a difficulty level of beginner. You will need this list of tools to get the job done properly. So, gather all these tools, and let's start this installation. Begin by removing the radiator body plastics and the front grille. Do this by removing the 9 body clips along the plastic cover shown here. Then, remove this intake shroud, and set it aside. Now, grab the cover, and set it aside as well. Next, on the passenger side, you now have access to the camera wiring. Unplug the camera, and the water supply tubing. Now, using an 8mm socket, remove the 4 bolts that hold the top of the grille in place, as you see here. Then, pulling on the upper corner of the grille around the headlight, begin to unclip the grille, remove, and set it aside. Next, with the grille lying face down on a table or workbench, remove these 3 T30 Torx screws, which hold the camera bracket in place, and set them aside. Now, you can remove the camera plastic cover and camera assembly. Then, unplug the camera and water tubing, and set the camera aside. Next, begin to unclip the harnesses from the grille, and set the harnesses aside. The water tubing and the camera cable run separately along the top of the grille, so take your time when removing both harness clips. Now, grab the water supply tubing, and remove the plastic plugs from each end. You may need to make a small cut on the hose, to easily remove them as shown. Then, grab the supplied, new water tubing, and install the vehicle plug end only at this time. Next, grab the supplied new camera cable, and the water tubing you just worked on, and fish them down and through the bodywork, behind the headlight as shown, until they come out the bottom behind the bumper. There will be plenty of room to do this without any crimping or catching of the cable or tubing. Now, back up top, plug in the new camera cable, and the water tubing as seen here. Then, grab the ends of the cable and tubing and route them back up through, under the headlight, and out the front end. Then, along the front lower bodywork, as shown here, keeping it tucked in till the middle of the grill area. Next, grab the grill and snap it back into place, making sure the cable and tubing are free and clear. Now, reinstall the 4 bolts along the top of the grill, and tighten down. Then, reinstall the top plastic radiator cover, the intake, and the 9 body clips, making sure all is aligned and snug. Next, reinstall the nozzle end and elbow tubing back onto the camera assembly. Then, snap the camera back into the factory plastic cover as shown. Now, grab the relocation plate and set the camera assembly in place as you see here. Then, there will be a cover plate and a backing plate. Install the cover plate over the camera, and the backing plate behind the relocation plate. These 2 plates sandwich the plastic camera cover and relocation plate together. Next, install the 2 4mm bolts and backing hardware and tighten finger tight. The end result should look like this here. Now, it's time to install the camera on the winch plate. This is much easier to do off the vehicle, but it can still be done easily on the vehicle. We just happen to have ours off for this video. With the fairlead off, set the relocation plate in place, in front of the winch plate. Then, place your fairlead over the relocation plate, align the holes, reinsert the hardware, tighten down, and reinstall the winch line hook. Next, grab the winch and reinstall it on the vehicle. For the purpose of this video, we only installed a couple bolts to hold the winch plate in place. Then, run the cable and the tubing around the bottom end of the winch, and up behind the plate and fairlead. Now, remove the 2 camera cover plate bolts, to access the camera back more easily. Then, run the cable and tubing through the relocation plate, as you see here. Next, plug in the water tubing line into the elbow, and then plug in the camera cable as shown. Then, set the assembly back in place, put on the cover and backing plate as before, insert the 4mm Allen screws and backing hardware, and tighten down. Note, be careful not to over-tighten these two bolts, so you don't break the factory plastic camera cover. Snug will do just fine. Also note, the relocation plate you have in your kit has been updated with a forward bend over the fairlead, versus a back bend shown here. This update puts your camera much more forward to clear the fairlead and line hook for an unobstructed front view. The installation process is the same. Congratulations, that completes your turn off-road camera relocation plate installation. This front camera relocation kit allows your factory front camera to still be used as it was intended. When installing an aftermarket front bumper, winch, or bull bar, the turn off-road relocation plate moves the camera back in front of all the added gear to still give you that factory performance with an unobstructed view of the terrain in front of your Bronco, just as it was designed. Until your next turn product install, be safe out there. If you have any questions during your product installation, don't hesitate to contact us via phone or email. We are here to help.